Just add water.
Hi, and welcome to our instructional video series here at New Wave Enviro Products. This video will cover the 10-stage plus water filter cartridge replacement process. First, let's go over what all the parts are before we get started. First, you have the diverter valve, which connects to your faucet. Then there's a hose that connects from the diverter valve to the water line elbow, which is connected to the cap or base. You have your housing. Inside your housing there's an O-ring. You have your filter cartridge, which has a silicone washer at the bottom. Then your faucet elbow, which connects to the cap or base. You begin by unscrewing the diverter valve from the faucet. Alternately, you can remove all the outside parts to the 10 stage if you find this might be easier for you. First, you want to take off the faucet elbow. And then remove the water line elbow. Then you take the canister and remove the housing from the cap base. And set aside. Then remove the cartridge and set it aside as well. Inspect the inside of it to make sure there's no obstructions. Then you want to take a look at the diverter valve. Make sure all the components are working properly, including the pin. Pull it out and make sure there's no obstruction. Check the O-ring inside. And check to make sure the hose is correct. Then you want to inspect the faucet elbow. There's an O-ring there as well. Then you want to check the water line elbow. Make sure the hose is properly and inspect the O-ring as well. Since we want the silicone washer to be against the cap or base to seal the unfiltered water away from the filtered water, we're going to put the end with the triangular cut holes of the cartridge down into the housing. It should be a snug fit for the recess in the end of the cartridge to fit down over the protruding ring that is inside the end of the housing cylinder. The arrow on the cartridge side will point down towards the cap or base. And then you would want to rethread or screw the housing back onto the base. You want to make sure it is firmly screwed on so as to prevent any leaking. Reattach any fittings that you removed when we started and reattach the diverter valve to your sink. With your connections hooked back up and your 10-stage unit right side up into your sink, turn your water faucet on and pull the pin on the diverter valve. You want to make sure that the cap or base and the housing are fit together with the right amount of torque, just enough for the water not to seep from the opening seam. If there's any leaking from here, tighten the housing onto the base a little more. Once the housing and cap or base are together and there is no leaking, you may move your unit back onto the countertop. Allow the cold water to run through the unit for an additional 2 minutes for any loose media to dislodge and clear itself out of the cartridge and water stream. Once it is running clear, fill up a glass and inspect for particulates. If it is clean, it is ready to go. If there are still some pieces of carbon and particulates, allow the water to run another couple of minutes before checking again.